everyone. I think we'll go ahead and get started. Let me introduce you to our advising session, give you a little bit of information about who we are, what we're going to be sharing with you, what the purpose of our session here is today. My name is Lisa Hollabaugh. I'm the first year class dean, which means I'm going to be helping all of the students in the room through what is really a pretty big transition from high school to college, and specifically to Barnard College. You've already heard from me, students have already gotten emails from me. I will be emailing you more during the summer, and I will certainly be in touch with you often during the actual school year. During orientation, you'll see me all over the place. During the school year, I'll be holding similar kinds of meetings to this one to make sure that students understand certain milestones in the planning stages, in the movement of the semester, to kind of getting you used to what a semester at Barnard College is like. So I want to say a few words about the office I'm in, because I hope it's an office that all of you will become familiar with very quickly and that you will utilize often throughout your years at Barnard, not just during your first year. I'm located in what's called the Office of the Dean of Studies. And this office is in charge of all advising outside of the major. So when you declare a major at the end of your sophomore year, you'll be working closely with a faculty member in that department or program to go into your advanced coursework. But everything that happens outside of that major, whether it's your initial academic advising during your first 2 years while you're exploring, whether it's preparation for a graduate school of some kind, if you're thinking about going to medical school or dental school or law school or business school or some other graduate school, there are deans who can help you prepare for that and help you through the application process. We work closely with the dean in the other office that is in charge of study abroad advising, for those of you who are thinking that you might want to spend time at a foreign university. So there are deans who can help you through a lot of the different stages of your time at Barnard, and you will have a different class dean for each of the years that you're at Barnard. As I mentioned, I'll help you through your first year, then you'll move on to working with the sophomore class dean, junior class dean, senior class dean, and each one of us always works with the same group. So I always work with first years, so I tend to have an idea of what some of the typical questions are, what some of the typical concerns may be. The sophomore class dean has an awful lot of experience working with questions about how to select a major, et cetera, et cetera. So we're an office that is there to help you through different stages and to help you with your planning. And we have walk-in hours, we have appointments, we have a lot of availability. Some of us do teach in addition to being deans, some of us don't, but we have a lot of time available to meet with students. And so I hope you get to know us really early on in your career at Barnard. I have someone helping me with the presentation today, and I want to step aside and let her introduce herself to you as well.
My name is Mevish, and I just finished my junior year, so I have 1 year left. So hopefully I'll see all of you on campus in the fall. I'm majoring in Middle Eastern Studies, and I'm still toying with a double major in French, so we'll see about that. And I also work in the admissions office, so I've been lucky enough to be working with Dean Hollabaugh during the summer, but throughout the year I work in the admissions office, so maybe as prospective students you've emailed in, asked questions, or called the office, or come for tours on campus. So as student workers, we're involved with all of that. So it's nice to kind of be on both sides and to meet you as prospective students and now as incoming first years. So a lot of your questions through emails will be coming to me, and of course if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask.
Mevish has a lot of information to share with you as well, but she's also someone who can tell you what it's like to be where you are. She was where you are trying to make the selections you're going to be making, transitioning into college. She knows the ins and outs of the student experience, so we're going to try to give you both of those perspectives today as we give you a little bit of orientation to Barnard's. So the point of today's summer advising, we're going to try to touch on a couple different things that I'm sure many of you are curious about. We're going to try to give you a sense of the timeline, not just in the summer in terms of preparing to arrive, but what it's going to be like to arrive on campus, just so that you can prepare yourself a little bit before you actually jump into campus and find that it's a whirlwind of information and activities and classes. So we're going to prepare you a little bit for that, but then a lot of what we're going to be talking about has to do with your academic plans. And it's a big deal to move into college classes, adjust to them, and try to select them, because unlike high school, in many high schools, there is a pretty strict formula of what you must take every semester, right? There needs to be an English class, a science class, a math class, a history class, and you just move from one year of that subject to another. All of that's about to change, and you are going to have a few classes that are required. You're going to have categories of requirements that can be fulfilled in lots of different ways, and you're going to have majors that have lots of different tracks through them. So you're going to be able to make choices each semester that can look incredibly different. You could have semesters that are different from one semester to the next. You could explore widely in departments and programs and disciplines that you've never even thought of before. And all of this choice is hopefully part of the reason you chose Barnard. It's very exciting, it's very inspiring. It can also be a little intimidating and a little daunting to try to figure out how to make your way through all of this when it's new. So we want to try to start to clarify some of this and start to go over some of the information that you see in the guide. What's in the guide is a distillation of a lot of the information that you can find in various places online, but we're trying to start in a more concentrated way so that you know exactly what's most relevant to you as new students. And today we want to clarify it, because even though we've only got 50 pages in the guide instead of hundreds and hundreds of pages, it can still be overwhelming in terms of the amount of new information for you. So we're going to help expand and clarify some of it and answer some of the questions you have. But again, a lot of this is because we're going through a step-by-step process. At many colleges, students may get a lot of information during the summer, but a lot of the decision-making processes happen when you get to campus. People arrive for orientation, and you're very quickly asked to make a lot of choices about what classes to take, go sign up for them. It can be a bit of a blur. What we would like is to offer you new students the same opportunity that Barnard students currently have, which is to plan in advance, to think about things, revisit, and then confirm and move forward. So current Barnard students have already come up with their academic schedule for the fall. They have determined what we call an academic program, which is anything that you're taking for credit. And they sat down in November and looked at the list of courses that are going to be offered this fall. They thought about where they were, what their progress was toward a possible major, what requirements they've fulfilled, what ones they still need to fulfill, what they think they may want to take, what they need to take. They talked with their academic advisors, and then they sat down and they signed up for classes. So they have spaces reserved in classes for the fall. Now, they then finished up the semester, they're off for the summer now. They can rethink it now if they want, or they can just put it on hold until they come back. But then when they come back in the fall, they'll have a chance to confirm it. They'll visit the classes, they'll talk with their advisors again, they may have some new information, they may have had an epiphany over the summer and suddenly would like to go from being art history to being pre-med, and they want to change their programs around, and they can do that. So we would like to give you the same opportunity to formulate a plan, get something put together, have spaces reserved in classes so that when you walk on campus, you actually already have spaces reserved in classes and an academic program of your own, but it will be preliminary. It will be what we call an advanced program. And you'll be able to go through that same process of visiting classes, talking with your advisor, with professors, making sure it's the right academic program for you, making any changes you need to, and then confirming. So that's why we want to share a lot of information with you now, because it can be challenging to pick courses when you're still trying to figure out what Barnard courses and Columbia courses are all about. So that's a little bit about what we'll be explaining today.